meeting to order. Okay.
Looks like you have one person in the waiting room, just.
Oh, someone else in the
Daryl.
waiting room. Oh, yeah.
Sorry about that, yep.
Okay, good evening, everyone. Thanks for your patience. We just got into the room here and got set up. Jason, could you close the door?
Oh, yeah.
Thanks. So I appreciate your patience. This is our first meeting without Patrick, and we have Jason Daly here with us tonight as our interim manager. And we have a bunch of new delegates and newly elected officials here tonight. So welcome everyone who's new and welcome back to our old gang. Let's call this meeting to order. I'll now call to order the Quaker Valley Council of Governments Board of Delegates regular meeting for Wednesday, January 21st, 2026. And please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, we could do a roll call and then you want to do introductions?
That'd be great.
After that?
Sure.
Oh, there it's on there. Gotcha.
Yep, if we could, I'll go ahead and just read down the list of the community. If you could just please state your name after I recite the community name, and that'll kind of allow me to know who's saying who's here and who the delegate is, if that's okay. And then we'll leave room after that for new delegates that are here that haven't joined us before. So, if it's okay, I'll start off though. My name is Jason Daly. I think you guys have all met me, during the last meeting or so there. I'm your interim COG director right now, and we are in the process of seeking out your, hopefully your new permanent director here shortly. And so I'll be with you for hopefully this meeting, next meeting, maybe, and we'll keep this process moving. So, okay, so I'll go ahead and Aleppo Township. Is anybody here from Aleppo Township? All right, Avalon Borough.
That's me. Maxwell Swartout, I'm a member of council.
Great, well, thank you. Okay, Bell Acres Borough. Bell Acres. Ben Avon Borough.
Yeah, this is Rick Wagner, Council President.
Great, thanks, Rick.
Colleen Neal, council member.
Great. Thanks, Colleen.
Ann Weaver, council member.
Great, thank you, Ann.
Mm-hmm.
Next, Ben Avon Heights Borough. Next, Edgeworth Borough. Next, Emsworth Borough.
Paul Getz, Borough Council.
Great, thanks, Paul. Next, Glenfield Borough.
Oh, I'm sorry, I thought you were going to go to that part. Gail Davis, council member.
Great, thanks, Gail. Next, Hayesville Borough.
Good.
Next, Kilbuck Township.
Daryl Hartman, supervisor.
Great, thanks, Daryl. Next, Leet Township.
Donna Ada Pietro, commissioner.
Great, thanks, Donna. Leetsdale Borough.
Maria Napolitano, council president, and also QVCOG vice president.
Great, thank you. Next, that can't be right. McCandless Township.
No.
I'm not sure why that's on it. Neville Township.
No,
I think we'll.
would have Leedsdale Sewickley. That's me.
Yep. Strictly
I'm Julie Barnes,
Yep.
and I'm the vice president Sewickley Council and
Yep.
president of the QVCOG.
Then we
and
have
Sewickley Heights.
Nate Briggs, borough manager.
Great, thanks, Nate.
Sewickley Hills.
So Hunter Hopkins, councilman.
Great, thank you, Hunter.
And we skipped over Glenn Osborne.
Glenn Osborne.
Yeah.
Okay, yep.
And I'm Matthew Dilber, mayor.
Great, thank you, Matthew. Okay, great.
Okay.
Next order of business would be if we could have the new members that have joined us. If you wanted to introduce yourselves a little bit and give us a little bit of your background, possibly.
Want me to go first or?
Sure. Yeah.
I'm Glenn Field. I am a newly elected council member, so this is the first time I've done anything like this, so this is all new to me. And they asked at our first meeting of the year for somebody to represent us for this. So I volunteered.
Great,
So
welcome.
nice to meet everybody.
Thank you very much. Would you like to go next?
Yeah, I'll go next.
Great.
Max Swartout, relatively new to Avalon, and after a couple of years of living there, my neighbor actually asked me if I was interested in local government, and I thought it'd be an interesting way to get involved in the community. So yeah, I was sworn in earlier this month, and I got voluntold to come to this meeting.
Very good.
Nice to meet all of
That's
you
great.
fine folks.
Well,
Yeah, thank you.
Great, well, welcome, yep. What else do we have out there?
I guess I'm
Aaron?
next. I'm Matthew Dobler. I'm actually not so new. I formerly was on the council in Aleppo. I was president of the board of commissioners there for 6 years. In connection with that, I was the Aleppo COG representative.
Oh, okay.
So I was actually, as I pulled up my notes here today, I was looking at my old notes from the COG. And I'm looking at, I was on a bylaw committee, so I'm not sure, have you rewritten the bylaw? Does anybody know if you've rewritten the
No.
bylaws in the last 10 years?
No,
Then-
I don't think so.
Then I wrote your bylaws. Did SWOT analysis, so I mean, good stuff, and frankly, when I was on the board, we had a lot of turmoil with our executive director, and there was, I won't even say his name, who was a very bad apple. He left, and we turned over Susan Hockenberry.
Okay.
I'm, don't know if I'd say I'm excited about a search for a new executive director. I've been through it once before, but I think out of that comes growth, and I should add that I'm like a nerd for local government. So while I find these kinds of things frustrating, and executive director turnover is frustrating, I think it's what we're all here to do. I think this is probably why we all got involved in this kind of stuff, right? Solve these kinds of problems. So I'm excited with like reserved excitement.
Well, thank you,
Great.
welcome.
Yeah, thank you.
Let's see, who else is new on the call?
Hey, Julie, this is Dan McKelvey. While I'm not new, I didn't hear Bellevue get called out in the earlier thing. So I'm Dan McKelvey, council president of Bellevue.
Thank you.
Yeah,
All gas.
Great.
um,
Thanks, Dan.
okay, and so on the call. Would, Bree Erskine, did I say that right?
You did. That was incredible. Thank you so much. I've got
Welcome, could you introduce yourself?
Sure. I asked Dan if I could attend today. I'm the new mayor of Bellevue. My name is Bree Erskine. I've been in Bellevue for almost 4 years now. And I was just really interested to learn more about what the COG is doing and how everything is working and just having a better sense of how things are going and understanding all the different processes. Similar to Maxwell, it's my first elected official position. So trying to absorb as much information as possible so I can get a good comprehension on how I can best be supporting my council. Thank you for having me.
Thank you. Colleen, would you be able to introduce yourself?
Yeah, absolutely. I'm excited to be here. Colleen Neal. I am new to the Ben Avon Borough Council. I moved to Ben Avon about 2.5 years ago. This is my first time in local government. My whole career has been spent in, I guess, local as in borough. My whole career has been spent in like a state and local, if you will, more on the law enforcement side. And then now I support our Department of Defense. So I've always had an affinity for government and really wanted to dig in with where I live and be more part of the community and everything that goes on. So I've lived also while trying to figure out where I was going to live, and I like to apparently buy when the market was really hard to buy in. So I got to move around quite a bit. So a lot of the places that you guys live, I've also been a resident of, and so I'm really excited to be part of this committee.
Cool. Thank you. Anne, would you mind introducing yourself?
Sure. Ann Weaver. I've been in Benavin for about 2.5 years. I currently work at Department of Human Services. My background is in mental health and drug and alcohol, criminology. So yeah, I'm looking forward to this meeting, just to learning a little bit more about local government, and see how it goes.
Okay, thank you, Anne.
Mhm.
Is there anyone from the old crew who wants to introduce himself?
We can all do that if you like.
It'd be nice.
Sure.
Yeah, you want to?
I'll start. So, Hunter Hopkins with, again, with Swickley Hills. Until tonight, I was the kind of the newest one, which is to say our borough just joined the COG in July of last year. So, I've got half a dozen meetings under my belt. And so kind of like a lot of the other new members, trying to kind of figure out what exactly the COG does and how it helps support our boroughs and townships. So I got involved in local government, same kind of thing, really. I just attended some meetings and kind of got appointed originally, and then ran for office after that. And like being involved and helping make good things happen in the local community. So, and I see great things from the QVCOG, and so excited for the next chapter with our next executive director as well. Thank you.
Thank you. Donna?
Lee Township, I've been there for approximately 40 years. We're the little community that the Quaker Valley School District has their sights set on, an area that has become full swing for the building of a new high school. I've worked for Quaker Valley for approximately 25 years. My biggest background, though, is in emergency management. I'm also the Lee Township Deputy Emergency Management Coordinator. I switched spots with somebody else after doing that for about 17 years. But it has a tendency to pull you back. We have a great township. I've been with the COG for approximately, I'd say, 8 years. So I've seen the many wonderful things that it has accomplished over that time period. At least for Lee Township, things beyond our imagination, because we are so tiny. And the grants that we have received really enabled us to do a lot of wonderful things. So that's it.
Thanks, Donna.
You're welcome.
All right, back to Zoom. Rick?
Yeah, hi everyone. This is Rick Wagner, starting my 7th year, I guess, being engaged with QVCOG. The same amount of time I've been on the Benavin Council. Was part of the hiring process for Patrick. Was part of the group that worked with waste management. So I thought I'd be engaged again this year to kind of help with both those processes if you need me. And happy to be here. Again, we have enthusiasm in our borough for the COG, again, from ability to get grants and work cooperatively with our neighboring communities, because again, we're small as well, and we make things work by partnering with our neighbors.
Thanks, Rick. Daryl?
I'm the treasurer of the COG. I've lived in Kilbuck Township for 62 years. I think 62 years. Although I spent 34 years in the Air Force, retired as a 9/11th Operations Group Commander about 13 years ago. And I've been supervisor for about 2.5 years on the COG, same length of time. That's
Thanks,
it.
Daryl. Thank you. Paul?
Yeah, Paul Getz, Emsworth Borough Council. This will be my 25th year of service to the borough. At least I hope it's service all, but probably been on every committee and That's about it for me. I try to stay below the radar.
Amen, Paul.
And I went to school with Daryl. He was a problem child back then.
Thanks, Paul. Yeah.
No, he was fine student.
I was a nerd, Paul. I was a nerd. Yeah.
Nate?
Hi, Nate Briggs. I am the borough manager for the borough of Swickley Heights. It has been 5 years that I've had that position. I've been with Swickley Heights for 13 years. I'm not a resident of the COG, but I've gotten to know the needs and kind of demands of the COG over my past 5 years serving in this place with the QVCOG. So I feel like the biggest thing for me that comes out of this organization is the trade of information, on the ground information, and then with you all council members, what you see, what you hear from your residents. And I think we do the best we can to provide the best services that we can in the area and make the QVCOG as best we can. Thanks.
Okay, thanks, Nate. Dan?
Thanks, Julie. Hi, everyone. My name is Dan McKelvey. I am the current council president of Bellevue. This is my 5th year on council. So like Rick said, we're definitely partnering, like partnering with the COG. You know, we get a lot of grants from being a partner of the COG, waste management, all of those things. And the information sharing and learning new things of what, you know, other communities are doing, what we're doing is also a huge benefit to being in the COG. So happy to start another year with everybody and see what we can do in 2026.
Thanks, Dan. Maria?
Yes, hello, I'm Maria Napolitano. I am council president Leedsville for about 2 years and just was reelected for my 2nd term on Leedsville Council. I've been a member of council for 4 years. So really appreciate being the QVCOG, the Leedsville representative on the QVCOG, knowing, connecting with other boroughs, learning what everybody's up to, and pooling resources, sharing information. My special interest on council is planning and zoning. So everything that has to do with grant acquisition and development of the community, that is definitely where QVCOG has been a great strength and great help to Leedsville, which is a small borough of just over 1,000 residents. As for background, I grew up in Soviet Union and I have a graduate degree in biology, and I really haven't worked in biology a day in my life. Instead, I briefly worked as an enrichment educator. So community development and nature type activities is my other sort of lifelong focus, and something I also get involved with when I'm on council to kind of promote the parks and recreation and community engagement activities for children in our borough.
Thanks, Maria.
Great. If it's okay, I'm going to switch over now and share the meeting packet that everybody would have had emailed to you here. Sorry if things are a little bit out of sorts. I know there was probably some cover letters and things like that Patrick was inserting into these at times, but promise as this goes, I'll not only learn what all the communities are that are in the COG, but I'll be able to recite them at the beginning of the meeting much clearer in the future. So your first order of business here this evening is to elect your officers as the with the new delegates and such. And I know that Julie, Maria, and Daryl as treasurer, you all have served in this last year. And it is typical for there to be a motion if those would be the delegates that you would still like to have serve as your officers here this evening. I know there is interest in from Julie and Maria for sure in serving in that role, as well as Daryl, I believe. Is serving as well as treasurer. So I see the head nod there. But I will leave it up to the delegates here if you would like to proceed, if someone would like to make a nomination to do that.
Do you want to do nominations for each position? Or do you want to do nominations?
Unless you'd
Try
like
to go
to,
by
we
position.
could do it by positions.
Okay.
So we want to start with president. Is there a nomination for president?
I nominate Julie Barnes for president.
Okay.
Second.
All right, we have a motion and we have a second. Are there any other nominations? At this time, I'll call for the vote. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, motion carries. Congratulations.
Thank
you.
So easy.
Yep. Would you like for me to call?
Okay.
Would you?
I can take it from here.
Sure,
Yeah,
you
sure.
got it.
All right, so next we'll do the election of vice president. Are there any nominations for vice president?
I'll nominate Maria.
I'll second.
Okay, so we have a nomination for Maria Napolitano. Are there any other nominations? Okay, any questions or comments? All those in favor of Maria, please say aye.
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 Any opposed? Okay, motion passes. Congratulations, Maria.
Thank you, Julie. Thank you, Donna. Thank you, everybody.
You're welcome. Okay, and for election of treasurer, do I have a nomination for treasurer?
So I'll motion for Daryl.
I'll second.
Okay, we have a nomination for Daryl Hartman. Any other nominations? Okay, any questions or comments? All right, all those in favor, please say aye.
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 Any opposed? Okay, motion passes. Congratulations, Daryl, and thank you.
I was hoping somebody would say nay.
Thank you to all. Appreciate you.
All right, so our next order of business, we're at item number 6 on our public comment or guests, which I don't think we have any tonight. So we'll move on to the approval of the December 17th, 2025 meeting minutes. And I'm looking for a motion to approve the minutes. If you are new to the committee, you will need to, what's those?
Abstain.
Abstain. Okay. Yeah, you will need to abstain. So can I get a motion to approve the minutes?
I move to approve the minutes.
I'll second.
Okay. Any questions, comments, or changes to the minutes? Okay, all those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? And how many have to abstain? 1, 2, 3. I can't tell who's abstaining online. Do we have a quorum to pass that motion?
That would be 5, right? We will need 5 on the.
We would need 5. We would need 5.
Yeah.
We have quorum.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, we're good then. Okay, thank you. Next is the approval of the December financial reports, unpaid bills list, and payroll summary. I'll take a motion for approval.
So moved.
Second. Thank you. And does anyone have any questions or comments? Jason, do you have any comments on any of these documents?
Sure. This was the month of learning, right, with Patrick. So, Patrick was working with me on putting together all of these reports, the unpaid bill list, as well as the payroll summary. So you can rest assured that your former executive director was intimately involved in piecing these together and will be as we move forward, helping along as we go through here. So if there are any questions, I did go over it in detail with him, but we've reconciled all the accounts and put the bill list together as well as the payroll. So.
Okay, great. Any questions or comments? Okay, all those in favor, please say aye.
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 Any opposed? Okay, motion passes. And then moving on to the president's report. So as most of you or all of you may know, we are in the search for a new executive director. And so Jason and Patrick and I talked and met a couple times, and Patrick and Jason met many times to go over what the role and responsibilities are, and wrote a job description and sent it out there, and we've been collecting resumes. So that's very important for our committee who's gonna be doing who's doing the initial interviews. But I want everyone here to know that you will have an opportunity to speak with the candidate. If we narrow it down, right now we have,
Can I go get a drink of water?
yeah.
Does that mean you have to stop?
No, go
Okay,
ahead.
I'll be right back.
Right now we have 4 candidates, and I think we were thinking we would narrow it down to 2 or 3 for interviewing, probably 3 is what we would want. So if we narrow it down, we want everybody who is not on the committee, but who would want to be involved in meeting the potential candidate to have the opportunity to meet them before we would give them an offer. So I want to put that out there. But it seems like tonight, since we're still in that process, it would be important for me to highlight something else, since we have so many new people here, is what is the COG? What is the purpose of the COG? And how can you make the most out of this experience? Because I know this is not your only meeting of the month. We all have other meetings that we're going to, so we want to make this really valuable. And I think for those of us who have been here for the past couple of years, really do believe that it is. So just to give you an idea, the QVCOG consists of 17 municipalities along the Ohio River Boulevard, stretching from the McKees Rocks Bridge all the way up to Ambridge, which is the beginning of Beaver County. We have two new member municipalities that joined last year, who are Ben Avon Heights and Sewickley Hills. And what that did with our map was it made our map contiguous. So we do not have any holes in our map if you look at an aerial view of our area. So what that means is it gives us power. We have the power, this board has the power to work together in a really important way on issues of our choosing. So even though you will find as new members that there are certain things we're working on, for example, Route 65, trails, we're going to do our waste contract this year. We have glass recycling. We have a hard to recycle event. Those are by no means the only things that we are going to do in this COG. We literally can do whatever we want to do with it. I think it is what we make it. And I know I say that a lot, but with all these new faces, it's great because there will be new ideas. So please bring your ideas to me, Maria, Jason, so that we can start the ball rolling with getting the right kinds of speakers here, and the kinds of impact that we can have as a group really attracts more attention than anything that we can do as individual councils in our municipalities, because we cover a bit, we're a larger geographical area. So if we don't like the way Route 65 is and the safety of the road, or non-safety of the road, then we can attract attention to that problem by bringing in state representatives, federal representatives, and we get more attention by doing that. So please, I just encourage everyone to please bring your ideas, and we'll just be creative. Like if there's something we can't do, we'll figure that out, but don't think that that there's something that we can't do at this point. And I think, yeah, I just want to thank you all for being here. It's fun to be a part of this. And we are also a group that would be responsive to any kind of issue. Like if we had a derailment along our area, this board is the board that would be working together with all the emergency management coordinators from all the municipalities. So knowing each other matters too, because then we have that familiarity to work through any issues that arise organically. Okay, that's my president's report.
Great.
Okay, so we'll move on to the Route 65 update. I don't know if we have anything in the packet on this.
I don't believe there is would there typically be I know we had at the last meeting, there was a speaker who gave some brief information, but
I think that we can just summarize it by saying that we are involved in talks with the Manchester Citizens United group, who received a federal planning grant for the reconnecting of the Chateau and Manchester neighborhoods on the north side. And that because that brings a lot of attention to Route 65 in that area, we are involved in, they're looking to us for community engagement now and for the next several months to give feedback on their project and on all issues Route 65. Does anyone have any questions or comments about Route 65 or our committee? No, okay. Emergency Preparedness Committee update. Is there anyone here from the Emergency Preparedness Committee? Okay, we'll skip over that one for this month. That one's just on there just in case there is an update. We always give them a chance to give an update. All right, next is the grant status report. Do you have anything for this, Jason?
Great. There is something, a report that is provided in your packet, and I feel that most of my time this month was spent going over with Patrick the status of a lot of these grants. We are getting, payments in. Probably the big one, as you can see under, I don't know if maybe the grants report and the executive director's report kind of overlap a little bit here, but there was an announcement about the LSA grant awards for the 2024. The Valley Veterans Association from Glenfield Borough was awarded the facility HVAC upgrade project. I believe that the COG is acting as a pass-through for that organization because they're a nonprofit located within the facility there. And we're just waiting on some, additional details to be, brought to the COG for that. We'll probably help assist them with possibly some bidding on that for those use of those funds. The next was Emsworth Borough, the Merrick Field Improvement Project, $237,532 was announced. So again, as we get more details on those funds being released, that will be I'll bring that to the COG here.
Jason, I think I'd like to make a comment on this regional welcome sign design guide.
Sure.
If it's okay.
Yep.
Okay, so for those of you who are new, this board hired Michael Baker last fall to help us make a design guide for signage in our communities. This means if you wanted to have a sign that said the name of your borough, or that's at the gateway to your borough, or a sign, even street signage, like you just got one?
Yeah.
Okay,
in the summer, yeah.
Okay, so we wanted to have some cohesive design across the COG region, because it's a way of creating cohesion across the boulevard and all of our neighborhoods. So we hired Michael Baker to come up with some ideas for us, and there was a deadline of this past Monday to submit your pictures of your current signage. And that was sent out to all of the managers and secretaries by Patrick, but I don't know if everyone was able to do that. So I just wanted to put that out there. If your borough has not sent in the pictures of what you currently have, then please send it to Kristen Cipher, whose email is up there. Because she's going to use that as her beginning point for her designs.
Great.
Good. Yep.
Okay. Next is the Hard to Recycle event. The PRC has reached out to the COG. This was a pretty successful event last year, and it does look like this event will be another one that will be able to be held. I believe this was this in 2 locations last year or just one?
Just one.
Just one location?
Yeah.
Okay. And so they are interested in participating with us again on that. And I believe that we pay an upfront fee for that to get that all started. And but I will be working with them to nail down the event. Hopefully at the next month's report, be able to provide some more details.
Okay, that'd be great. Yeah, because we voted on that last month to approve a date, but the date was to be determined.
Oh, okay,
Yeah.
great. The Next item, and I'll wait on this because I do, well, might as well talk about this now, is the executive director search. I know we have some folks on from the committee. If there's a possibility for us to stay on after the meeting to talk about that process and candidates, I think that might be worthwhile. But as Julie had mentioned, we have received 4 candidates to date. We are still actively recruiting through the end of this month for candidates. I've been reaching out to folks that are involved in organizations, nonprofits, municipal managers, assistant municipal managers. It's in several different locations right now where this would be attractive to candidates. It's just right now, this is a very difficult climate right now. There are a lot of municipal manager positions open. There's a lot of movement that's going on in that arena, and it seems that the municipal manager positions or director level positions are kind of, they're tough to fill right now, despite there being some movement going on. So, but if possible, if we could.
Yeah, so that would be Rick and Maria. Would you be able to stay on for a few minutes after?
Great.
Sure.
Yes.
We,
Can I, just real quick, I don't know if it's the time for like questions, but it's a complete newbie question. Like, what does the executive director like do?
Okay, do you want to take that, Jake?
Sure. And I have to tell you, they're all a little different in each COG. They all do a little bit different. In this particular COG, the director handles all of the grant management, the CDBG grant administration, the GED. So those are the
What the difference?
CDBG grant?
No.
So these are the community development block grants. These are federal grants. They require meticulous attention. The monies that your community gets oftentimes are for ADA related type projects like sidewalk ramps, park projects. They are typically income based.
No.
They are typically income based, and they involved a lot of surveying by the community and things. The COG gets involved with that and helps to manage that. The county plays a significant role, and the director works very closely with the county representatives. There's usually 3 county reps assigned to this COG that works with those different grants that the director has to help coordinate. So the payments come to the COG. They work with the contractors to manage and close out those projects. The GEDTF, so those are the gaming monies that municipalities receive. There's also grants associated with those. There are a lot of very specific funds. Your community might apply for those. A lot of those projects, again, will run through the COG and be administered. We'll help to bid those projects, help to manage the bidding process, awarding, and again, managing close out. Not the construction pieces, but primarily the administrative piece of those grants. I would say, 60% of this job is managing grants, if not 70 or 80%. It's a lot of grant work. Yeah, a lot of grant administration. The other, piece of that is that, the programs like the household hazardous, program or hard to recycle programs. This COG took a particular interest in that, offering that as as an event for its members, and it was very successful. You can see 400 participants, were involved with that. The COG director helps to orchestrate that and manage that. I can tell you, from my role right now, I'm seeing a lot of grant focus by this position, a lot of bookkeeping for the in QuickBooks directly. It's a one-person show for this COG. So there's no administrator, there's no one answering the phones. It's all the director. So it's able to be primarily remote. Which is nice. But there is a COG office that is located in Kilbuck's municipal building, and that's where the actual office is for the director. So there's some space there that we have it just as on the office that stores a lot of our files, regulatory things for audits, and things like that. So, yep,
All right, thank you.
absolutely.
And there's more.
Yeah, there's a lot. I think it might be helpful for everyone to get a copy of the job description. Maybe I'll include that out with my next, in an upcoming email for the delegates.
Can I just how often grants become available? Is that like a yearly thing?
So
The
there's,
grants themselves, like, is it,
sure.
yeah,
Yeah, so there's a typical cycle for all of those grants. The local share grants, or they might be, you might have heard them called LSAs. Those are funded and typically do have a cycle to them. They have been opened every year right now. There's other grants like those CDBG grants that I mentioned. There is an annual cycle for those that those application periods would open every year for eligible projects. Then there's some one-off grants like the small sewer and water grants that open up as funding becomes available for projects like those. So
so it varies then.
yeah, and your COG director keeps up on all of those and makes you all aware of when those those grants are open, and that's a big part of this job, staying in contact with the legislators and understanding.
So I see that Glenfield was granted a grant for road repair on East Beaver Street.
Yeah.
So that means we already were approved in 2025, and now we have the funds.
Yeah,
and
so
we can access the funds to go ahead, 'cause that's my street.
oh, okay. Was that recently announced?
Well, it's on here, but they did
Okay.
talk about it at the Glenfield.
Oh, sure.
Yeah,
Okay.
on the.
It probably has, it was awarded, which means you will get the funds, but the funds have probably not come through yet.
Okay,
But
that's what I wondered, like.
I
the
think that might be the
timeframe.
game maker.
Yeah, okay.
Okay.
I was just curious how they work.
It takes forever.
Well, it's government.
But it's always a year. It's like usually on a yearly
Yeah.
cycle, each one of them.
Yeah, because my street's pretty bad.
And
But one of
typically,
the cool things about the COG is that, sorry, Jason, one of the cool things about the COG is that neighborhoods like yours never applied for grants.
Yeah,
And small little neighborhoods were never applying for grants. And then neighborhoods like Sewickley weren't applying for grants because they thought, well, we'll never get them.
yeah.
Well, and all of that was not true. We all started applying for them and we're all getting them. So it's been amazing.
Yeah.
And even just the gaming grants last year that were awarded in the fall,
Mhm.
this group got awarded $780,000.
Well, they did do road repair on the other side of Glenfield. Which was the first time I've seen anything done in 30 years.
Yes,
That I've been there.
because there are so few residents there. It's hard to
Yeah.
get the tax revenue
It's
to
really
do that.
yeah, and the other item is the refuse and recycling contract. So that's the COG has served as kind of the point to help orchestrate that and to serve as, the clearinghouse whenever concerns come in. The COG houses the escrow fund for the refuse company. So whenever a community might have issues, as you're reporting those, once they rise to the level of a liquidated damage, we have a fund that's in place that those payments can actually be issued back to the community should they rise to that level. So that's a nice, another nice service that's provided. And speaking of the trash contract, at least it's not necessarily reported on this month's report. At the end of this year, that contract's up. And so the COG will need to rebid the refuse contract. So I'll be reaching out to the managers and secretaries, over the next month to ask if there's been any significant concerns or issues that you might have had with your with the current hauler. So just so we can start assembling some information on that. But again, a lot of value added from this COG to the membership that is not available in all COGs. So this COG plays a significant role in a lot of that, and your director certainly plays a big part of that. One item that's
Jason, a quick question just before we move off of the executive director. The posting for the job, where was that posted? I didn't see it on Connect. I didn't see it on Alom. Where did we advertise or where have we advertised the position?
Sure. So it's been promoted to PML, the managers group. There's a secretaries association. There's a nonprofit posting website that it was made on that typically does attract directors of nonprofits. Those were the 4 locations. I've also been reaching out to individual municipal managers that I know have recruited themselves for assistant municipal managers. So they've given me a good pool of candidates that I've reached out to, some of them that they've actually shared with me to try to encourage them to apply for the position as well. So it's yeah, so those are the locations where it's been posted.
Thank you.
Yep. The next item is I wanted to just make everyone aware that BIU has moved its location right now. That's called Building Inspection Underwriters. They're a lot of your community's building inspector. They might perform some other code inspection work for you as well. They've moved their office location out of Kilbuck Township and up to the Moon area. Whenever they put in their office relocation, they listed the address of the COG, Kilbuck Township, as well as themselves. We were all sharing the same individual address. So when they put that change in, all of our mail, including Kilbuck's and our mail, is all going to BIU's new address right now. So we're kind of in we've set up some time where we're alternating going up and grabbing the mail to make sure. We have some larger checks out there that we're waiting for. So we're trying to stay, on top of where the mail's heading right now. So we're a little, we're watching that. In the future, we understand that Kilbuck might be attracting another tenant. So we're contemplating adding some type of a suite or something like that so that this type of thing wouldn't happen again. But as of right now, we're all going to the BIU office in Moon right now, so which is a little bit of a challenge. The next item that's listed on there is the Chatham Sustainability Partnership. This is somewhat of a university study that's being done right now, that they are looking at our refuse contract. Again, we're one of the few that has a COG-wide refuse setup, and they are looking at, they're going to be collecting some data on our program. They're also, in that first meeting with them is set up where they're going to do some data gathering, is set up for Monday, I believe at 10 or 11 a.m. And we're just going to start going over the type of data that they're looking to gather, like our contract, some data points that they can start plugging in. Something of interest that you all might have is that the North Hills COG refuse contract is starting. That was a COG-wide contract as well. We've recently learned that one is starting to fall apart. And those individual members are starting to look at bidding out on their own right now. So they're kind of going in a different direction.
Jason, do you know what the reasons are?
I think that it's cost right now. The smaller communities have expressed concern that they may be subsidizing some of the larger community collections.
Can I speak to that?
Yeah, for sure.
So one of the big reasons, Switchley Hills wanted to join the COG is because our last trash contract, we had a 70% increase. And so when I look at the prices that we're even currently have for our residents, it's well above what the COG has negotiated. So while I expect, given that it's a number of years, that it will go up, and there may be some sticker shock on that, I would tell you that doing it alone, it'll be worse. So for those of you who think about, saying, hey, we should find it some other way, I'm going to say, hey, it's not always greener on the other side. Right. For what it's worth.
Yeah, a lot of communities have seen 40 to 50% increases. The hauler pool seems to have shrunk. So there's limited amount of haulers that are picking up these contracts right now. And especially if you have cart connections, where if the municipality provides carts or if the hauler provides carts, sometimes that changes the arrangement of those contracts as well. So this will be interesting to see, though, how this plays out for the COG with your contract coming due, which, this is good timing for this. And I think they could help to provide some additional information. So typically after either before or after the executive director's report here, we always provide an update as to the things that have gone on with these various grants on here. If you have grants that we're tracking on this, you can find your updates on here. I don't know if there's, would we typically go through these individually? Okay. So if anyone does have any questions, again, these are, all of these are active right now. And again, we're actively going through these and keeping up on these throughout the month right now. So I think that those are, I mean, between that and the director's report, I think that might be.
Yeah, okay. Then we will move along to new business and with an update on the executive director search.
Sure. I think if we've talked about that a
Yeah.
little bit already under the two headings there, so I think maybe we can just wait till the end of the meeting to have
And talk with the
some
committee.
additional follow-up. Yep.
Okay. There is no old business, so our next and final topic here is concerns by delegates. So what we do with this item is go around and each municipality gets called on. And you say kind of the highlight, a brief highlight of what's happening at your municipality. So it could be something like, we just ended our roads program, or we just opened our new park that we've been working on for 2 years, or we have an issue with tractor trailers falling down hillsides, or like whatever you need to bring up that you think would be useful to share or to get help with, like maybe something that another neighborhood has already dealt with and you can ask for advice in this item. So that's what we'll do here. So Jason, if you could, or do you want me to call? Do you want me to call on the
Or do we just want to
municipalities?
go through?
Yeah.
Yep.
So that we don't have anyone here from Aleppo tonight. So how about Avalon?
So I am new, so I'm not sure exactly what to bring up here. I know that we just finished, or we're finishing up, our pool, like we got it
Oh, yeah.
renovated, and we have like a new, working with a new company to like manage the snacks and like day-to-day pool activities. And installed some new slides and stuff.
So the pool will be open this
Yeah,
summer.
yes, sir.
That's great. Yeah, that was perfect.
Thank
That was
you.
perfect. All right, and Bell Acres, I don't think we have Bell Acres here. Bellevue?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. Thanks, Julie. So not much going on in Bellevue right now. Our biggest things right now is we did have a brand new fence put up at our Memorial Park, and during one of the snows, someone decided to do a little joyriding and do some donuts, and they donutted right through the new fence. So, it's not something that we can turn into insurance because of the deductible, but we are considering closing off the back part of Memorial Park in the winter now. To only DPW access or police access, just because we can't have nice things anymore.
Is that by the dog park, Dan? Is that the dog park area?
It is the dog park area, Rick, a bit kind of behind it, back where the swimming
ball
pool
fields?
is. Yeah. But other than that, we're just trucking along here. I did hear today that we are down to snow plows, which I don't like to hear with the impending snowmageddon coming this weekend. But we'll get through it. We always do.
Okay, thanks, Dan. Sorry to hear that. Okay, Ben Avon?
Yeah, a couple quick things. We like most of you, we have 4 new council members of our 7, 2 of which are on the call today. So we're excited to have them as part of the council. We have a meeting next week with Avalon. We do we get our police services from Avalon. So we have a meeting set up with their new mayor and borough council president to kind of begin talking about that. That contract, initial contract expires end of this year, so we're going to start working on that. And I was hoping to get some feedback from folks in this meeting, afterwards via email. We are looking to purchase some of the electronic radar speed signs that track what people are doing. I know Ben Avon Heights has a few of them. I think Avalon has put a couple in others. So if any of the municipalities have in recent years put in those speed signs, if you have vendors you've worked with and are happy with them, or maybe more importantly aren't happy, I would love that feedback. As we look to purchase that and get those installed, hopefully in the springtime.
Okay, thanks, Rick. And maybe we should do, Jason, maybe if you could we do like a follow-up email to everyone with everyone's contact info so that they can email each other?
Yep.
And that was Rick Wagner, if you want to email him. Okay, Ben Avon Heights is not here tonight. Edgeworth is not here. Okay, Emsworth, Paul?
Sorry, it took a second to get off mute. No report tonight. We, like everybody else, had reorganization, so we don't even have our committee set up yet. So
Okay.
leave it at that. Thank you.
Thanks, Paul. Okay, Glenn Osborne, Matt?
Well, I don't just want to say no report. I am new to Osborne, and it's individual concerns. But I will say that at our last meeting, and I'm looking at a report from one of our grants, and they mentioned something about it being advertised in the Pittsburgh Post-Gazette. And of course, this came up at our meeting last night that Pittsburgh Post-Gazette is closing. That is our newspaper of record. And the advertising rates, expect them to go through the roof, because it's about to change now. And all I'm doing here is trotting out an old issue, because this was an issue when I was on the COG eons ago. I mean, this need to advertise these ordinances and whatnot in printed newspapers is crazy, and it's dogging our communities. It costs us a fortune. I know that at the time there were efforts to try to lobby our higher ups to try to change this. They've never gone anywhere. I spoke with a higher elected official at one point, and he looked at me and honestly said to me, the boards that are funded by this advertising are the same boards that write endorsements for political candidates. So I can't possibly vote against this. They would skewer me the next time I'm looking for an endorsement. I don't know. I know it's a studied hard issue, but I think it's the kind of place where a COG really has the opportunity to change things, because Osborne or any of the local communities try to get the attention of our higher ups. It will get nowhere, but if we try to push it together, maybe we can get somewhere. So that's my issue.
Just one comment on that too, is if you go to the ALOM conference in Seven Springs, they usually have a panel of the state officials. And that usually gets brought up. You can grill them at that conference. Okay, thanks, Matt. Glenfield?
Glenfield actually does have something that just came up that I haven't really seen in my 30 years there. We have a company that's been down there, American Industries. It's a restoration company that is selling their property. And it's a landscaping company that wants to buy it. So it's Steel City Landscaping from the North Hills. This happens to be right next door to me. So we're trying to figure out, they didn't submit all the paperwork they needed, the new company. Because we want to know how big it is, how many, like I said, East Beaver Street is really in bad shape. So we're trying to nobody knows anything about it because nothing moves in and out of Glenfield. So if anybody has any zoning experience or can offer me some insight, they, like I said, they didn't submit all the paperwork that's needed.
One of the things,
and that's where I'm not real clear about, because I don't know what's needed.
Well, one of the things you can do as a municipality is you could impose a business privilege tax on the business, on the businesses in your municipality, not just one business, but it would have to be all of them. And the business privilege tax is usually very small. It's like $1 for every $1,000 of revenue that the company brings in. At least that's what it is in Swickley. But it at least is something that can contribute if you're worried about your infrastructure being affected by, like if you think they're gonna tear up the roads with their equipment, then it's at least something.
One of my concerns is Glenfield's very small. If you go down into Glenfield, it's a dead end on both sides. There's only the viaduct to get in and out. So it's a challenge in the summertime because you have a lot of boaters.
Right.
It's just, I don't know that we can handle all that the company that's been there since I've lived there it's like a ghost town. I mean, they have office people, but I think they delegate all their work out to restoration people. So there's no activity there
Well, you can
whatsoever.
also talk to your borough solicitor about that. Your borough solicitor should be able to give you some advice.
Okay.
And they would normally be that's your lawyer who would be at your meeting.
Okay.
And also there is a safety concern there because I don't think does Glenville just have one road in and out?
Yeah.
Because Hayesville just has the one.
Yeah, if you're, the part of Glenfield that's where I'm at on the river, the only way in is over the over the train.
Yes.
So that if that is, obstructed, you're not getting out of Glenfield.
Correct. So that's
On the other streets, on the other 79 side is different, but in my section,
right,
there's only
So
one way in.
The emergency preparedness committee that's in this group started because of that problem in your neighborhood.
Okay.
So there was definitely someone that was I wasn't on that committee, so I don't really know who was on the committee. And one of our Hayesville rep isn't here tonight, but she would know.
They would have the
she
same
was
thing.
on it. She was on the committee.
They would have that same problem.
Yes. So you have some unique issues over there. I think I would talk with your borough solicitor.
Okay. Because that was my concern when they were trying to build that Walmart. All that added traffic. If there's a car accident or whatever, you can't get in and out.
Any other advice for Gail?
Well, I think this is the kind of thing that often happens in places where nothing usually happens, is that when did you last update your zoning ordinances? I imagine it's been a while, right?
Like I said, I was just.
There you go. Yeah. So I guess what I'm saying is, and this is the kind of thing
I need to find out.
Yeah. So you might want to, in conversation with your solicitor and in conversation with your counsel, the Pennsylvania State Association of Boroughs recommends looking over and updating your zoning ordinance bi-yearly. Really, very few people actually do that. It's an expensive undertaking, and but you don't need to you don't need to always hire people. You could just figure it out by looking. And so one of the things what you do is that once you, as you think about what might happen, who might come, you can adjust your zoning to better guide future development. So this is not something that would apply typically retroactively to people who already came. But in the future, or if this takes a long time, there's still things you could do. You could tweak your zoning to make certain things, require certain conditions for a certain kind of business to operate here or there. You could require conditional approvals. You could require them, and as part of that, they would come to council and they would have to meet certain, requirements to invest, put up extra roads, whatever makes more sense for your community. But that requires careful consideration. And again, unfortunately, most people learn about it when they encounter a problem like this. So it kind of tends to be a post hoc activity. But if you are proactive, you could, make things better in the future. And even now, maybe something can still be done. So that's a conversation with a solicitor and other zoning nerds, I guess.
Thank you. That was very helpful. Thank you.
Okay, Hayesville, we don't have anyone, so Philbach.
Taking care of snow, nothing much going on. We're getting some of the speed limit signs as well, the ones that measure the speed. We have a neighboring community whose residents have a tendency to fly through one of our neighborhoods, and we're trying to find some way to control that. So we're looking at those same kind of signs.
Okay.
That's it.
Thanks, Daryl. Okay, Leet.
Well, the park is finished. The only thing we're waiting for this period of time is for the Veterans Memorial. The granite stone has been completed. So I think they're having a little difficulty with the weather as far as the actual installation. Also, the salt facility, the guys are very, very excited about planning that and the different things that it could be used for. Other than that, I don't know, it's been pretty low key.
Okay, thanks, Donna.
You're welcome.
All right, Maria Leedsdale.
Yes, we actually had a very busy start of the year. First of all, we now have a borough manager. At the start of the year, Leedsdale, and actually at our reorganization meeting, Leedsdale hired a borough manager. Ms. Hardy Miklas comes to us from Economy Borough and experience in Beaver County with lifetime experience in Main Street type nonprofits, which was a good fit for what we are hoping to do and in current issues that we have on Lista, such as blight remediation. So we hope that she would help us with grant acquisition, better office management, and overall borough-wide organization. We hope to reap organizational benefits from that. But it's been we've endeavored to make it a smooth transition, but we're all very busy trying to reset the office to this new way of work, and they know the borough-wide as well. So that's one thing. Next is we have received a $100,000 DCNR grant to fund the phase 2 of our Henley Park improvements. That was my last project for 2025, which I have personally authored and submitted. So I was kind of really waiting, and everything was really delayed from last year. So finally the results came in. I'm very happy. So what this means is that now we have promise of funding for the bulk of our projected Henley Park improvements, both stage 1 and stage 2. Stage 1 was the playgrounds, for which we've been diligently fundraising. And stage 2 is the replacing of shelter and making it accessible, ADA accessible. So all of this is now a reality for 2026, 2027. And now I'm personally really gearing my loins to go ahead and really work on this to make it happen. And in practical application of that is that next week on Thursday, January 29th at 7 p.m. in the community room, we will have a presentation from our landscape design consultants who have helped us develop sketches for the playground in Henley Park. And those are 3 concept designs that will be presented to the community, and hopefully we'll get some good directions from community members which one to pick and what it's all going to look like. So everybody who visits Henley Park, in particular families with children and teens, anybody who would actually be using the playground or have watched other people, little people using the playground and knows what to say, is very cordially invited. And so please let it know. I'll be glad to share the flyer. Please let your residents know, especially everybody who comes down Camp Meeting Road, comes down to Leedsdale from along Beaver Street, and who passes and visits Henley Park over the summer too, when our splash pad is open. We would love to hear from all of you.
Okay, Maria, congratulations. That is.
Thank you very much. I'm honestly okay, my job is done.
That's a personal accomplishment. That's wonderful. Congratulations to you. Okay, moving on to Swickley. That's my borough. So we're just plugging away with our goals. We really outline our goals during our budgeting process, and so and then everybody just gets to working on them in January. So that's what we're doing. We're doing more park improvements this year. We did just receive notice that we got a grant to do some improvements for the walkability in our neighborhood is really high, but there's also a lot of traffic. So we've been doing some studies with engineers to help us with pedestrian safety. So we're going to be doing more with that this year. And I think we have several $100,000 of grants that we can use to work on that. So that's pretty exciting. Not just for Swickley residents, but all the people who are walking around the village and worried that they're going to get hit at that beaver and broad light. So, yeah, that's all I can think of right now. Our meeting was a few weeks ago. I can barely remember what it was. Okay, next, Nate, Swickley Heights. Oh, Nate might have dropped off. I don't see him on there. Yeah. Okay, Swickley Hills, Hunter.
So I want to circle back around to the trash. I know that late last year there was some talk about getting the committee formed for this year, and I just wanted to make sure that in the interim that if there's a there is a tempo to that, to getting it started. I signed up to be on that. I don't know who all else did. But I'd like to make sure that we don't miss our window for doing what we need to do there. So,
Okay, so I wonder if, I know Rick said tonight that he was willing to help with that. Maybe we should get Hunter on the call with the Chatham folks. Do you think that's appropriate?
You're absolutely.
Yeah.
so they're willing, sure.
Okay, so Hunter, we have a Zoom call on Monday at 10 a.m. I don't know if you're available at that time, but it is with that cohort of students from Chatham from the sustainability program that are gonna help to go through our current contract and research other contracts and then give us advice on how we should move forward with our negotiations this year.
Okay.
Would you like to?
I would.
Okay, so what's your email address and I'll forward it to you.
It's Hunter at triplehsolutions.com. That's all spelled out TRIPLE solutions.com.
Okay, I'll send you I'll just forward the message that has the link.
Okay.
And I'll be on the call and I think Jason will be. Okay.
Thank you for
You
that.
can loop me in, Julie. I'm happy to be there too, Julie. I'm available if you need someone else.
Okay, great.
And then the second thing is kind of tapping into the grants. And so this has been kind of a bit of my experience on my borough has been trying to get our borough to apply for grants and do things like that. It's been a learning curve, right? So, our at-bats, we're like 1 out of 5 or something, and even then it was a partial. But I am happy to report that we as part of that fruition, we have a engineering plan for our park. And so that will help us kind of move forward with grants, which is to say by having that engineering of what we want to do with our park area, it lets us then take that and leverage that for these variety of grants. And I hear so many communities getting grants, and I guess I would like to explore. I know that of course, the COG does like the GDTF and the LSA, but I know there's a lot of others like the DCNR and things like that are outside of that. And I just wanted to kind of pick everybody's brain for how are you doing? Like Maria, I heard you say, that was you were the author. And I don't know if that's the case in all these cases where it's us that's doing it, or if there's somebody that has a specific grant writer on staff or anything like that.
Yeah, so in my case, I could tell you, this is the second time I'm applying for DCNR grant and the second time I'm getting it. So I have been very lucky, but I also put in a lot of personal learning for this. Like I do myself, and the engineer, our borough engineer, we talk to him, and he provides the technical support. He provides the drawings and the budgets. But this one, I had to completely master top to bottom. It's really kind of different from the others. It is very involved in the amount of actual writing you have to do that and creatively answering questions which have to do with sustainability. And it's just really detailed and kind of weird. So this is something I feel, if this is obviously a regular person can master this, as my experience show. However, this is where you probably would want a grant writer rather than your engineer. It's honestly way beyond what your engineer, how much time they're going to have to do this. It's pretty much what I was saying. And another key thing for DCNR grants, what I found is partnerships with local nonprofits, businesses, groups, and your elected representative. You have to have a full range of letters of support and various groups that you kind of build together a relationship with, brought them together and built relationship with, and they all can show very specifically how your project benefits them. So I think that also adds strength to the application. So in other words, I'll be happy to share with you what I know, but I know there are also grant writers who do write those things, and they typically will take a cut in all various ways. And again, I can't comment on that, but it's doable. So anything I could share with you, I'd be glad to. But I think maybe if anybody knows some reputable grant writers, that is also an option to share. Maybe we could pull together some resources. Maybe we could make a list of consulting firms who we personally have heard of or had some experience with, who would, we could all then afterwards talk to.
That's a good
We've
idea.
had we've had some luck because we have folks in our community that do grant writing or have done grant writing. So that's your best source. It's if you have someone on staff or someone in your community that does it, that can be very, very beneficial. But I would agree that the key thing is getting support from uh, political leadership, state law, depending on where you're getting this funds from, is key for
Yeah.
funding.
I have also worked with the vendor that would be getting the money from the grant to help with grant writing before too.
Actually, that's true. They do that as well. Some vendors would write the grant for you. And in particular, I would say there is one particular vendor who I know Ambridge Borough is working with, and they really focus on EPA type of grants. Again, that's not something I wouldn't even attempt to touch as a lay person. Like this is people come into it after years in engineering firms and like all kinds of government experience. Like they really know how to work that particular beat, so they do it well. And they would write the grant for you with an understanding and expectation that should they be funded, they'll be the one doing the work. That is definitely possible.
Wow, good, great ideas. I appreciate everybody's feedback on that, and I would maybe welcome this being a topic when sometimes we do presentations and things that like maybe we can kind of do more huddling together for this.
Well, the COG does administer some grants, but then there are so many.
There are so many.
We hire Gateway Engineers, which is a huge engineering firm, and they have a grant writer on staff. So any project that we plan with Gateway Engineers, we ask them to check and see which grants could have qualified for that project, or that project could qualify for. So that is another like possibility for you guys, is to like look at it through your engineering firm. Gateway just happens to be like a full service engineering firm, so they have everything. And we've gotten a lot of grants that way. Yeah.
Excellent. All right, thank you.
I think that's it. That is. Okay, so we are finished, everyone. Okay, we'll try to keep the meetings to an hour. This one was longer because we started late and we did our introductions, but we will try very hard to keep our meetings to an hour. And I will take a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor, please say aye. Aye. All right, we're adjourned. Thanks, everyone. Thank you very much. See you next month.
Thank you.
Oh, really? If the answer is no, that's fine.
And we need
Note that in
Rick
the,
and Maria
list of
staying on.
grants for Hawthorne,
So maybe it's
it trails off. It says all work under the project agreed upon scope is expected to be completed by the end of December. Do you know where that stands?
Let me just stop this.
Yeah, I think, John, like I said, I don't wanna
I don't want
bother.
to end this meeting for everybody. I just want to stop the recording.
I think there is a way to do that.
down at the bottom, pause, stop at the bottom.
There it is.
Stop recording. Yes, you. Email.